Hey everybody, so back with the VTA 6 SW. In the previous video we broke it down to this point and reassembled the grind chamber and calibrated. What I'm going to do in this part is simply show you how to get underneath the bottom plate of the grind chamber and what you'll see with the switches, one here and one which is attached to a sliding spout, which works with that lever. Okay, and you can hear that switch clicking. Okay, so we'll get to it real quick. First thing we're going to do is remove the two rear screws that are going into the sliding spout mechanism, which is pretty large. We'll see it when we pull it out. And then we are going to remove the, actually you know what, we're just going to loosen the three screws which hold this bottom grind plate down, and we're going to remove, looks like two 5mm, yep, two 5mm screws going up into that same sliding spout mechanism. Next to it are two screws which are holding the spout cover on. You don't need to worry about those. Normally I don't remove it. Now that sliding spout mechanism is loose. Alright. You know what? We also have to take out the two flat tip screws which hold the top of the shaker plate. That screws into the body of the sliding spout as well. Cool. You know what? Like you should, probably makes it easiest if you go ahead and remove the shaker rod screw also. Sometimes you'll have to hold the back side of the shaker rod to keep it from rolling around. Okay, so now we've got the spout loose. This is loosened up a wee bit, but we are going to go ahead and finish taking that off. These three screws are shorter than these two. Alright, once we're here, we'll go ahead and remove the bushings just so we don't lose them. Prop this up on the body. The cherry switch you will see right here is held in, this is not the cherry switch, I'm sorry, the safety switch is held in with these two machine screws. It's pretty simple to remove and reinstall, not over tighten when you put the switch back on, or it's possible that it won't actuate correctly. Alright, so at this point I believe we can actually leave that on, get a little piece of packaging. Alright, that helps. So this has two red wires which are screwed in to little clamps, and it doesn't matter which one goes where, it just completes the circuit when the switch is mashed. Kinda, or pretty much the same thing on our sliding switch. One thing we forgot to do is if you rotate the handle a little bit, it lines up a 5mm hex head with a hole in the foam, which makes it easy to loosen and pop the handle out. Once that is done, we can pull this out the back side. If we were to use the handle to actuate the switch, you see how it works. There are some other spout versions that do not have a mechanism like this. Here is the switch that we wanted to get to. This is called the cherry switch. It is two wires, and it doesn't matter which side of the switch it goes to, it's just completing a circuit. With both of these switches, You can test for continuity by testing the switch, and you can test this end of the wire as well as the end of the wire coming to a terminal mounted to the bottom of the grinder normally, that you'll find in the bottom. Reinstallation, you basically push the switch through. I do say it's nice to have the handle kind of lined up for the hole in the foam. Make sure the wires route around one side and don't get pinched. It'll pretty much rest in place. Oh, underneath this switch you will notice a mounted piece of foam. This foam is replaceable. It will wear out over time, and it stops the coffee grounds from going into the motor, and coffee grounds can mess up a motor pretty badly if it fills all the way up. Shove that back in there, then carefully make sure you don't pinch any wires, and two little beefed up pieces of metal which are used for prying have a little piece of rubber that helps align them, and this helps align it, and you can see the holes start to match up. You have to wiggle the switch a little bit to get the back end going. Typically like to start with the two longer beveled screws which hold the back of the switch in. Quite get it tight, just get it to where you feel you're almost tight, like a half a turn away, just to give you a little bit of wiggle room to work. Then the three shorter screws which hold the plate down. Doesn't feel right, wiggle it around. Something's probably not right. Alright, so now we get the two screws on the bottom of the spout. And then I go back and tighten once I have them all lined up. We're going to go ahead and do the shaker plate down. Just makes it easier to see. Don't like to over tighten anything, but these shaker plate screws, all three of them, need to be tight. They take a little abuse. If you go to tighten the bottom shaker rod screw, you often need to hold the shaker rod to keep it from turning. Alright, we got that back on. We'll stand it back up. Okay, so make sure all our screws are tight. When I say tight, I usually mean hand tight with a little cinch, not it'll mess you up next time. We're going to put the handle back on. There we go. All right. Cool. Okay, now we're going to end this video right here. In the previous video, I broke it down to this and put it back together, including calibration. Okay, look for the next one soon.